Silver is trading at $17.20 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,263 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1.3 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,427. Antiwar.com reports last week gunmen attacked a busload of Coptic Christians heading to a monastery in southern Egypt. The Islamic State was quick to claim credit for the strike, and by the end of the first day, Egypt's military junta responded with a flurry of airstrikes against militant camps outside of Derna, Libya. The attacks were popular domestically, so they did some more, and have continued throughout the week, striking Derna's camps, claiming they pose a direct threat to Egypt. Analysts, however, say this is really unlikely, and that indeed these camps almost certainly have nothing to do with the bus attack that preceded them. Derna is well known as a rebel hub with a lot of small factions starting up there. Indeed, the Islamic State affiliate in Libya was located there at one time, though that was years ago. If the Islamic State did indeed attack the bus, and signs are they probably did, it was likely Egypt's own affiliate of the Islamic State and not the Libyan affiliate, and either way they had nothing to do with the Derna camps being hit. Egypt has had long-standing problems with militant groups attacking their Christian minority, and those attacks have almost exclusively been homegrown. Reacting by attacking something in Libya was a convenient distraction for the junta, and when the Egyptian public started cheering their firm response, they kept doing it. At this point, however, Egyptian officials are freely admitting that they are not targeting specific groups with the airstrikes in Derna, and that they're hitting random camps on the assumption that all the groups targeted have the same ideology as the bus attackers, which is good enough for them. Indeed, some analysts believe that Egypt's junta, long keen on exporting their style of government to Libya by backing General Khalifa Haftar, have been drawing up plans for attacking Derna and other rebel hotbeds in eastern Libya long before the bus attack ever happened, and this just served as a useful pretext to go ahead with them. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a jury on Thursday convicted 3 sheriff's correctional deputies of second-degree murder in the fatal beating of a mentally ill inmate 2 years ago in San Jose, California. Matthew Ferris, Rafael Rodriguez, and Gerard Lubrin were the Santa Clara County deputies who were found guilty. The guards faced sentencing on September 1st with a minimum 15 years to life in prison with the possibility of parole. The jurors reached its verdict after 3 days of deliberation in the 2-month trial. The guards were charged with killing Michael Tyree and assaulting another mentally ill inmate, Juan Villa, at the Santa Clara County Main Jail on August 26, 2015. Villa testified against the deputies during the trial. District Attorney Jeff Rosen said, "We cannot and did not turn away from the tragedy of Michael Tyree. We will never forget Michael Tyree in our fight for those who see vulnerabilities as an opportunity to harm rather than help." Tyree was found in his cell naked and covered in vomit and feces. He had lacerations to the liver and spleen, which was nearly severed in two. Defense attorneys argued that Tyree died after falling from his toilet into a sink in his cell. The deputies were arrested 1 day after the coroner ruled on August 31st, 2015 that Tyree had died from internal bleeding due to blunt force trauma. Prosecution witnesses testified the correctional deputies enjoyed physically attacking inmates. In December, Santa Clara County agreed to pay $3.6 million to settle an excessive force claim filed by Tyree's family. Santa Clara County Sheriff Lori Smith said her department will not be defined by the actions of these 3 individuals, adding, "We're proud that justice was served and that those who are culpable are behind bars." Born into a devastating world and raised among the crowd, the Cloudwalker assumes a new identity and begins the unrelenting quest for truth. In this epic journey, he discovers dark secrets about aspects of his previous life that he once trusted. Through the Journal of the Cloudwalker, he shares both the traumatic hardships and the eternal beauties of his experiences. Dear Society by the Cloudwalker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
An alarming new study finds that people suffering from stress-related disorders react poorly to being trapped in underwater elevators. A tired 398-month-old throws a tantrum, and a little clay thing is purchased at an arts festival. And now an eerily perfect recap of this week's news. The Catholic Church reversed its long-held stance against gay marriage this week after meeting Connecticut couple Tony and Craig. The vacationing pair dazzled the Pope and assorted clergy with their witty conversation and true loving affection for each other, leading Vatican officials to conclude that love is love and it's silly to put restrictions on it in this day and age. The Chinese people announced that they would be willing to forgive most of the United States' $1.16 trillion debt if Americans agreed to dress up in costumes and perform silly dances for them. Chinese officials encouraged U.S. citizens to wear sequined vests and prance around while slapping their big fat American tummies, promising that the more humiliating the performance, the more debt will be erased. In sports, NASCAR fans are deeply puzzled by a mysterious black family seen attending multiple races.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. We'll give you the toll-free call-in line where you can join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. The us tonight in studio, it's Darryl.
Chris.
Hey, and Chris. Hey, do we got an echo in here?
No.
Okay.
No. There are two Chris's. Normally it's Ian, Darryl, and Chris on Fridays. However, Ian and Mark are at the Talkers Conference in New York City. New York City! Get a rope. Yep, New York City. I'm guessing the conference is probably coming to a close about now.
Oh. So we just got to kind of phone it in for the next 25, 30 minutes, and maybe they'll be here on time?
No,
Nah.
New York City is like a 4.5, 5 hour drive from here.
Darryl, that was a joke.
Okay.
Pedantic Darryl.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Like sometimes radio shows originate from New York City, and it might only take half an hour to wind up getting from Midtown Manhattan to wherever the studio is by way of South Florida or whatever that saying is. But it's really interesting. The story that we're going to start off with, really interesting because, Chris, you had it, Thursday, Chris, you had it in the show prep last night. We didn't get to it. I was like, that's a really good story. Forgot that you had it in the show prep last night. Brought in the story. Friday, Chris also had the story. It's about a guy that wound up getting 180 days in jail for refusing to give police his iPhone passcode.
And it wasn't anything, wasn't it just, it was nothing complex.
Is that correct? Because I thought he did give the passcode and then he gave the wrong passcode by accident or something.
Headline from Miami Herald, and I've not read the story, but the headline from the Miami Herald is, he did not give police his iPhone passcode, so he got 180 days in jail.
Okay, so there's another story, a similar story, and I think they may be confusing the two. Because so the story that you have, is it about Christopher Wheeler from Broward, Florida? Yep, that's him.
Yep, so probably something to where, somebody's doing some clickbait headline. And I absolutely hate these weird clickbait headline things.
So let me quote him. I swear under oath, I've given them the password. A distraught Wheeler, his hands handcuffed behind the back, told Circuit Judge Michael Rothschild, who earlier in May found the man guilty of contempt of court.
Okay, so this sheds a little bit of light onto it, because my thinking was, and I know that there have been court rulings in other parts of the country saying that, you're required under law to wind up providing a passcode to a phone or putting your thumb on a phone or something.
Right.
And so I thought it may have been, obstruction of justice, not I forgot my passcode. I thought I gave you the right thing. Nope, contempt of court.
As crazy as this sounds, if he had actually refused to give it in the first place, he would not have been found in contempt of court. because he has freedom of
right. Very, very
Fifth Amendment?
strange. And we'll get into this.
There's some constitutional issues there.
We'll get into
Reasonable
this,
search.
but first, to the phones, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Dave calling in from New Hampshire. Dave, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about one New Hampshire politician's ethnic cleansing campaign against the elderly of Manchester and the opportunity it provides.
Hold on. Ethnic cleansing against the elderly.
What does that mean?
Now, it's technically not ethnic. It's age-related. But have you read what this guy said?
I saw a headline where apparently an alderman was asked a question, and the response in sort of a paraphrase was, yes, if you can't pay your property taxes, you should be kicked out of your house. It doesn't matter how old you are.
I tried to get an exact quote before I went out on my walk, and I'm going to get one or two words wrong, but basically he said we should have a program to get her out of her house. He was trying to get people to old people to leave their houses so they can bring in young blood that works harder, basically.
Oh, there you go.
Good luck. We need more tax livestock, essentially, is kind of the thing. But
is it really unusual that some elected city official would wind up making a statement trying to justify bringing in more taxable people?
Well, it's not surprising. I mean, it's just one of those moments where they actually are themselves for a few seconds in public and show their true colors.
Right.
But it's one of those things where, we have to take these opportunities whenever we get them to take politicians out of office and ruin their political careers. And this is one of those golden moments. This is is he going to survive, or is he going to be gone from New Hampshire politics forever? And if we don't, raise enough heck, he might survive this politically.
Yeah, he just needs to get through a couple news cycles, and then it all goes away, it seems
luckily, and this is one of those double-edged swords of people have short-term memories. However, this is the year that municipalities, at least the cities, wind up holding their municipal elections, meaning that unless this guy's in one of these 4-year terms, which are very rare in New Hampshire, this guy should be up for election coming up in the fall, which means that candidate filing should be happening in the next month or two. So hopefully people wind up, having that goldfish memory long enough to remember this during candidate filing and file somebody to run against him.
Yeah, and it's important to remember that speech is not really that important. People get worked up about it, but it's his actions over the years that really count. And the speech is just unfortunately, the method that we're sort of stuck with for dumping politicians out is that people get more angry about what they've said than what they've done. But the thing that he's done most recently that really is much worse than what he's saying is that he's trying to push a budget that exceeds the tax cap, which means that there's a spending cap in Manchester, where you're supposed to only raise spending at the rate of inflation, no more, unless you can get a supermajority. And he wants that supermajority, which means he wants a crazy amount of. So you have to be crazy to think that Manchester needs 1/10 of the money that it's getting in taxes right now.
Well, as many cops as I see on the road, I don't think Manchester needs it.
And Chris, you go to Manchester a good bit.
Yeah, more than I'd like, actually.
So, Dave, any final thoughts there?
Well, actually, on a completely different side. Well, I would just urge people to do something. Call the mayor, do something. Write a letter to the editor. Call Free Talk Live. I don't know, do something. But I did have something I wanted to mention to Chris, and that is that I have followed up on your arrest by protesting at the Manchester Police Department.
When was this?
Nice.
That's awesome.
That was probably about 3 weeks ago, and I haven't uploaded the video yet.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to see that video. Hey, make sure you post it on the Shire forum.
Oh, yeah, I do try to log in there sometimes. It's sort of my duty to fight Facebook, but there's not enough traffic there yet for me to log in every day.
Yeah.
Well, Dave, you can wind up getting the digest emails sent to you, so you get those daily reminders of threads that you're following have had X number of new posts, and the forums have been opened up a little bit more to where it used to only be available to Shire Society signers. Now it's open basically to anyone. You can find those over at forum.shiresociety.com. Dave, thanks for the call. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Plus, we'll delve into this story a little bit more about the Florida man who's in jail for providing a wrong password or no password to the police.
Last week at Consensus 2017, a cryptocurrency conference in New York City, an agreement was made between 56 companies representing 83% of the hashing power for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is an international internet currency that has, of late, taken the tech world by storm. In the agreement, they pledged to implement segregated witness, a long-needed patch for the Bitcoin software, at 80% acceptance instead of 95%, and increase the Bitcoin block size, relieving pressure on the network and lowering prices for transactions. This compromise is supported by the former head developer of Bitcoin, Gavin Andreessen, and Bitcoin.com's Roger Ver, along with 83% of the Bitcoin miners. Some of the core developers and the influential organization Blockstream do not support it, however. Although the finish line is not yet crossed, it may be in sight, and we here at Free Talk Live, along with most of you, breathe a sigh of relief, hoping that this opens the door to the continuation of the most important piece of software since the internet. Find out more at Bitcoin.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-765-9681 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-765-9681. Again, that's 800-765-9681.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1. Share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We started off talking about Florida Man. Yeah, Florida Man's always in the news, right? Well, this particular Florida man has been sentenced to 180 days in jail. Headline says for refusing to give his iPhone password to police. It's actually for contempt of court, and there's sort of ambiguity about whether or not he tried to give his password or not. We'll hopefully delve back into the story here in just a couple minutes. The we, of course, being me, Darryl,
Chris,
and Chris.
And have you ever wanted to start your own website or blog, but you've not been able to put that idea into action? Well, you're in luck, because HostGator, one of the top hosting companies out there, is offering a special deal to Free Talk Live listeners. Go to HostGator.com/FTL, and you can get up to 50% off their regular prices. Hosting your own website or blog can be intimidating, but HostGator makes it easy. HostGator offers a simple, one-click, easy installation for WordPress, and they have 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-per-week over-the-phone or live chat tech support, and a very intuitive and user-friendly control panel that puts the power of creation and the simplicity of use into the hands of you, the customer. HostGator also has a 99.99% uptime rating, so you don't have to worry about outages. To get the special offer of up to 50% off for Free Talk Live listeners, go to HostGator.com/FTL. Before we get back into the story about Florida Man, let's go to Skype, where we've got Abel calling in from New Hampshire, I believe. Abel, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Thank you, Darryl, Chris, and Chris. And I have something to say. And unfortunately, Mike, Mark, and Ian aren't here, but it's a general concern. And it started 2 days ago with a 9/11 and JFK discussion of, all this poo-pooing of, so-called conspiracy theory, truthers, and, trying to impugn us, those of us that have questions are not, and our curiosity is less than satisfied.
So I'm guessing that you said there was a discussion a couple of days ago. It was not a day that I was here, so you're probably thinking of like Monday or Tuesday night?
Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday.
I was on the show Wednesday, and there was no discussion of conspiracy theories, 9/11, or JFK on Wednesday of this week.
Okay, maybe it was Tuesday.
Okay. Can you summarize it?
Well, I was going to suggest call in tomorrow when Mark and Ian are on the show, and they can actually address your concerns other than me speculating.
I want all of us to address this particular issue.
I'm not going to speculate about what Mark or Ian said on a night that I was not on the air.
This is a general concern about Free Talk Live, which is a program that I love, okay? I am so happy you guys are there doing what you're doing. That I have to speak out about this, and it is a trend, and I think it kind of sprouts from Ian mostly, but Mark.
If you have an issue with something that Ian said, Abel, if you hold on, I'm going to mute you. If you have an issue with something that Ian said, call on a night that Ian is here, and Ian can address your concerns. I am not going to speak on behalf of Ian. I'm not going to speak on behalf of Mark, and I'm not going to speak about a topic that was discussed by Ian and Mark on a night that I was not on the air. So if you want to discuss something other than things that Ian and Mark said, you can continue.
I do.
Then go ahead.
Okay. So we have Darryl and we have Chris and Chris. Okay. Thank you very much for all of you being there. That one of the trends of the show in general, and that includes all of you, and more the leaders of the show than the also, you know, co-hosts and what have you, is that there is this trend that actually has discussion going on, and then the caller gets chopped off, and then the discussion goes on. And you do this, Darryl, and do it with some of the other co-hosts and of course Mark and Ian, but they're not here, so I'm talking to you. That they go, you know, for me it was 14 minutes of discussion after I got cut off the phone, and the discussion was completely different than I would have guided it if I were on the phone.
So if you're calling to complain about not being able to discuss something, then actually discuss the thing. Don't complain about not being able to discuss something.
Well, I you know, the thing is that the thing is 9/11 and JFK, and the fact that both of those events occurred, you know, with reports within 24 hours of who the perpetrators were, as if they had investigated everything, figured it all out ahead of time, and laid it all out for us to, you know about it. And that's just so much bull crap. And for people to not actually take that on, and you know, we can't speak as much about JFK, but 9/11, the effects of 9/11 are with us today.
I would argue that the effects of JFK are with us today, and I will say that you know, there are a lot of people in this country that believe every word that comes from our government. That's a fact. And while there are a lot of us who are skeptical about a lot of things that our government has done, or a lot of things that our government says, there's a much larger population that's just willing to accept it. And I think it's important to always put out the evidence when we come across it that might change their mind, might get them to question some things.
And I just,
some subjects are just too far out there for anybody to accept.
On the topic of 9/11, I just want to ask this question. If George Bush held a press conference tomorrow and he laid out, this is how I planned it, this is how all of this happened.
Yep. Here's the Israelis on tape coming through the building.
What?
Yep.
Does the USA Patriot Act automatically get repealed? Do the hundreds of thousands of civilians in Afghanistan and Iraq that were killed in the war on terror suddenly come back to life?
First of all, George W. Bush is not the key player in this realm. George and all presidents for I don't know how many years, you know, going back, you know, probably close to 200 years, the presidents have become puppets. Do you all disagree with that?
No argument on that. Abel, thank you for the call. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Make it a point to shop Kohl's this weekend and take an extra 20% off your purchase. Plus, Yes to You Rewards members earn triple points. Not a Kohl's Yes to You Rewards member? Enroll today and start earning. Now through Sunday, members get a $5 reward for every $35 spent. Earn 3 times faster. More points, bigger reward. Visit Kohl's.com/rewards to sign up. Kohl's. Offer valid June 1st through 4th. Some exclusions apply. For program details, terms, or to enroll, visit Kohl's.com/rewards.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends radio show. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgoristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agorist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agorist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any tomfoolery. So go with AgoristHosting.com. And if you want to get your foot in the door with decentralized marketplaces, Agorist Hosting is now offering Open Bazaar hosting. Go to agoristhosting.com, click on the button that says Get Hosted. Agorist Hosting, that's AGORIST, hosting.com. Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to BIPCOT.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live shows 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
So, I heard somebody say that 50 is the new 25. I mean, I can live with that, but isn't age just a number? I mean, if you feel good and look good, who cares about numbers anyway? I take care of myself, and, well, I use Nature's Youth RSF, from, you guessed it, Nature's Youth. Think of the money you spend on things that make you feel better for just a little bit, and then think of spending the same amount or less on something that can make you look and feel better for a lifetime. How about the facts? The ingredients in Nature's Youth RSF work naturally, providing just the right environment to support healthy HGH levels while maintaining homeostasis. RSF is non-toxic, and it doesn't contain any synthetic hormones, which can weaken your endocrine system. Simply add RSF to your sensible diet and exercise plan. You can, and will, thank me later. Forget about that aging number I mentioned and focus on the anti-aging number. 800-333-6923. That's 800-333-6923 and online at naturesyouth.com. Nature's Youth. Live your life.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio, it's not Darryl. Or it's not Ian in the first chair. It is Darryl. And Chris. Normally there's only one Chris here on any given night. And
they were on sale.
Yeah. I almost said it's not Darryl, it's Chris. But because you were joking earlier in the week of, can we all be Chris on Friday?
Yeah, just call yourself Chris, Darryl.
Well, right now I don't know who I am, apparently.
There we go.
Darryl, Chris, and Chris. And we're discussing a Florida man, possibly multiple Florida men, in Miami-Dade, where me and one Chris have a story from the Miami Herald. The other Chris has a story from Engadget that sort of differentiates these two cases. So just to summarize very quickly, Christopher Wheeler, another Chris, was taken into custody in Broward Circuit Court, insisted that he had already provided the passcode for his phone to police investigating him for child abuse, although the password apparently did not work. He told the judge, "I swear under oath I've given them the password." He was found guilty earlier in May of contempt of court. As Wheeler was jailed Tuesday, that being just a couple of days ago, the same issue was unfolding in Miami-Dade for another man accused of extorting a social media celebrity over stolen sex videos. That man, Wesley Victor, and his girlfriend had been ordered by a judge to produce a passcode to phones suspected of containing text messages showing their collusion in the plot. Victor claims he did not remember the passcode. He wound up prevailing.
Yeah.
So, Chris,
what does my story say?
Yeah, you've got the story from Engadget that sort of differentiates these two cases a little bit.
And again, they talk about the Victor's case where, he said, and his lawyer argues, many people, including myself, can't remember passwords from a year ago, which I think all of us would recognize.
And that time period is very important. Because I didn't mention this, but it's in that next paragraph to where apparently the passcode was for a device that had been seized 10 months prior.
Jeez, come on, guys.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, and it's complete absurdity. And this, Chris, you're a tech guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I use like a YubiKey and two-factor authentication on virtually all my devices. So if I were required to provide a password, half the time it wouldn't work because the device is going to look for not only something I know, but something I have.
And also, I don't know about you, but, I try to keep passwords that I know I'm going to remember.
Sure.
And then variations up to where it's like, oh, you have to have a hieroglyph and an underscore or a dash and, this and that and the other thing.
Well.
All right, so which one is it? Oh, is this the one where it's got to be 14 characters? The one where it's got to be 12? Is there only one uppercase letter? So I can see.
I've got dozens and dozens of different passwords and passcodes. And
right.
Like, there's no way I if you give me couple of months, probably I wouldn't be able to remember half of them.
Most of my passwords, because I use a password manager, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know them. I know that when I went to change my Facebook password, I opened up LastPass. I said generate a new one that's 14 characters long, includes uppercase, lowercase, symbols, and numbers.
I've started
hit enter.
Using GRC.
Right. There's some open source options out there too that are great, but the thing is it's this string, 14 characters long, and I make no attempt to try to remember that crap.
And Brian Sovereign, who's a former co-host of Free Talk Live, has his own tech podcast, Sovereign Tech. He suggests actually having a little black book. So you get a little notebook.
Depends on what it's for.
And you
this
write
sounds
your
bad
password.
for physical security.
Yeah.
Hold on. No, he says it's wonderful for physical security because, the feds are coming. Just like the notebook, because they're not looking for notebooks. They're looking for things on your computer.
I love it.
This is
I
good.
love it. Just leave it laying out on the coffee table.
They're not looking.
We can't crack it.
They're not looking for old tech.
Oh, that's a good point.
Everything that they're looking for.
Props
we need
to Brian.
your electronic devices.
Okay.
And then you've got a notebook in your back pocket they don't even care about.
Right.
Who carries a notebook anymore?
Yeah. But the point being that as we face more and more security threats and more and more of our lives are online, that more and more people are looking at ways to improve their security. And password managers are one thing, using extremely complex passwords or, geez, like I said, I can't be the only person in the world that doesn't know most of his passwords. I just don't.
Yeah. Right. I actually had a situation where I had a 4-pin code that I entered every single day, multiple times a day, and about 3 months after I started using this code, I could not for the life of me remember what the code was.
Just blanked.
I totally blanked.
Yeah, I've had that happen.
I could not get it. Like, I spent probably 15 minutes before somebody else who knew the code entered the code, and I was like, oh, that was what the code was. But yeah, I mean the whole idea that you can't just forget something, like even if you or forget or give them the wrong code thinking it's right.
And I remember, speaking of 4-digit codes, I remember one time when I worked hospital security, and I was going around on a patrol in the middle of the night, one of the off-site locations. The front door was open. I get there, and I go to enter the code to shut off the alarm, get a call from the security people. They're like, "What's the code?" I tell them, and they said, "Are you sure?" And then I start second guessing wait a second. Oh, God. And just completely freaked out because, the way the question was asked. Oh, yeah. And it was the right code.
You could just throw somebody off completely. Nice.
Are you sure? I don't know anymore. I don't even know who I am now. What's going on? Let's go to the Skypes where we've got Stefan calling in from Ohio. Stefan, you're on Free Talk Live with Darryl, Chris, and Chris.
Hey, guys. How are you tonight?
Doing well. What's on your mind?
You guys were talking about police looking for phone passwords and computer passwords. I actually have some experience with this. I'm not going to get into the details
You're
of what I did.
police, or you
Police.
keep getting investigated by police where they want your passwords?
I was investigated once. I'd rather not get into the details of why.
Understandable.
But it was extremely serious. And I remember they wanted to get into my computer, but they ran into a roadblock because I did not use Windows, and apparently their dumb technicians could not figure out Ubuntu worth a darn.
Oh, wow.
And I actually didn't end up getting it.
Me.
And get this, they were looking for photographs, right?
All right.
But they ended up busting me because of copyrighted material, which was not even pertaining to what I was being investigated for.
That sounds like a fruit of the poisonous tree thing.
Yes, it does.
Our warrant says we're looking for this. We found something completely different.
If it's in plain sight, though, it would be valid, I think.
Oh, it sounds like it was not in plain sight because they first had to hack Ubuntu.
We need to hack into your computer and look for this specific thing.
I would agree that's not... I agree that would not be in plain sight in my opinion, but the way the courts are, who knows?
It is hard to not get a little jaded.
Continue, Stefan.
I was thinking, if they are looking for something pertaining to a crime they think you committed, I don't think they should really care if you have Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band on your computer. Is that not reasonable?
No, constitutionally they should absolutely not. Well, they can care all they want. They just can't do anything about it if they find it. That's how the Constitution is supposed to protect you.
Stefan, we'll hold you over. And speaking of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band, that came out about 50 years ago. And there's apparently some clues that are on there that Paul might have died and been replaced, or it could just be an elaborate hoax. This is Free Talk Live.
Today, how to incorporate your business in just 10 minutes so you won't lose everything if you get sued. Step 1, stop putting it off. If you're not incorporated and someone sues your business tomorrow, it's not just your business at risk. You can lose everything: your home, your car, even your life savings. Step 2, call the following number for a free 10-minute incorporation guide from Incorporate.com. 1-800-940-9829. They don't provide legal or financial advice. They just make incorporating quick and easy. So you can incorporate or form an LLC in just 10 minutes. That number again is 1-800-940-9829. Step 3, congratulate yourself. By taking just 10 minutes to incorporate your business or form an LLC, you protected your home, your car, and your life savings. And that is how you incorporate your business in just 10 minutes. But hurry while they're still giving away these 10-minute incorporation guides for free. Call 1-800-940-9829. That's 1-800-940-9829.
BuySellMakeOffer.com is better than ever. I'm Pat Matthews, here to tell you that BuySellMakeOffer.com, the revolutionary site for buying and selling anything and everything, just upped the ante. Go right now to BuySellMakeOffer.com and click the Sign Me Up button. When you do, you'll get the first month free, and then it's just $9.95 a month to be a member forever. And you don't need a credit card for the initial setup. Create your own store on the site and sell whatever you want as long as it's legal, however you want, and sell an unlimited number of items. Create your own intro video to describe what your store is all about. Use Skype to see who you're buying from or selling to. Sell unused household items, as well as antiques, cars, televisions, collectibles, real estate. The possibilities are unlimited. Use social networks to promote your store right from our site. Remember, there are never any fees no matter how much you sell. Become a member today. I'm a member. Get all your friends to sign up too. This could become a great business for you. Sell whatever you want for the first 30 days free at buysellmakeoffer.com.
Are you a helpless moron perplexed by the world? Wish there was a device that enabled you to consult the Onion Book of Known Knowledge anytime, anywhere? Then you need the Book Bjorn, the amazing new wearable invention that makes you and the Onion Book of Known Knowledge inseparable. Never again be stumped by the panoply of bizarre objects filling your field of vision. Never take it off. Never be without it. All this for just 4 easy payments of $39.93. The Book Bjorn. The Book Bjorn. And if you call now, you'll receive the special page-turning wand. Turn pages with the greatest of ease. The special reading light to wrench knowledge from utter darkness. The book umbrella to protect the Onion Book of Known Knowledge's precious pages from the elements. Book Bjorn. This $800 value can be yours today. Send a check or money order to the Book Bjorn, care of the Zwiebel Center for Knowledge Studies, 15 Zwiebel Way, Macau, China. Do not hesitate. Buy now. The Book Bjorn.
For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu 641-793-9660.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We'll get back to the calls here in just a second, but I've got to ask a question. How would you like to save 25% or more on things that you were going to buy anyway? How would you like to save 25% on something that you might not have been, wanting to buy unless you were able to save 25% on it? Well, I can help you out with those, both of those. As long as two things. It's available on Amazon, and pretty much everything is available on Amazon, and you have cryptocurrency. Those two things, being there, then go to saveatpurse.com. Now, what you need to do to get these big savings is you put things into an Amazon wish list. You then import the wish list into your account at saveatpurse.com. You then fund the account with Bitcoin or another virtual currency using the Shapeshift integration, and then you can save big time. I regularly save 20% or more. If it's something where I'm in a hurry, I can still save 5% using the Purse Instant. They're at saveatpurse.com. It works wonderfully. I've been using it for about 2.5 years, saved hundreds of dollars. Saveatpurse.com. Let's go back to Stefan calling in from Ohio. Discussion was about police asking or demanding that people wind up providing passcodes for electronic devices, and then kind of, what happens if they have a warrant looking for X and they find Y?
Yes. And I was starting, the reason this was a big deal, as I said a couple years ago, I ran into something like this, and I was thinking to myself, if you are looking for one piece of information to help you with your current, report, that's fine. But if you weren't even interested in copyrighted material anyway, why do you care? To me, it just seems like a big scheme so they can find more stuff to tack on to you, because apparently...
Of course it's a big scheme where they can find more stuff to tack on to you. That's what most of the, speed trap stuff... It's not about making sure that people slow down. It's not about making sure that people are safe. It's not about making sure that people are wearing their seatbelt. It's not about making sure that drivers have insurance. It's not about making sure that drivers aren't driving drunk. It's a fishing expedition. It's about being able to walk up to a car, looking at somebody, and saying, "Oh, your eyes are a little bloodshot there. You've been smoking on the marinara tonight? Oh, I smell drugs coming out of your car. My dog smells drugs coming out of your car."
No, he's undergone an advanced drug recognition expert class, so he can just look and tell.
I've been accused of that, and I don't even smoke.
Yeah, so the entire thing is basically a fishing expedition, but the other Chris, or technically he was first Chris. Thursday Chris
first of his
brought
name.
up a really good point that, under constitutional law, and, what good is that really when the courts don't actually always follow that, but under, some court precedent and, constitutional theory, they should not be able to introduce anything into a trial that was not part of the warrant.
Correct.
Yeah. And to me, as you were saying, it seems like police are definitely more interested in making themselves look good because, it makes people feel good. They think, oh, all these arrests, it must mean they're getting all of the criminals out of my community. And a lot of people, because I'm from, Republican podunk, and if you say anything negative about police here, you get a bunch of crap for it. So I know the mentality of people like this. And I know a lot of people who would probably disagree with me saying, well, if you hadn't been breaking the law in the first place, it wouldn't matter.
Well,
you don't have to break the law.
Well, not only that, but there are so many laws that the people that say that are probably breaking multiple laws every day anyway. And they just don't get caught.
Right, and don't know it half the time.
Well, ignorance of the law is no excuse, Chris.
Exactly.
And what's worse is the police aren't held to those same standards. So the police can say, oh, well, I think you broke the law, and yeah, that doesn't, it doesn't matter. They'll charge you with it, and it's like, well, no, the law wasn't broken here. The law clearly says this, and yeah, that won't matter.
So, Stefan, I know you said you didn't want to go into the details of whatever the situation, but what was the resolution?
When they ended up finding copyrighted material on my computer?
Yes.
I eventually, my attorney, who it was stationed very close to me, filed for a motion to suppress because it was found unconstitutionally.
All right.
And eventually nothing ended up happening for the original charge. I guess I can say what happened. It really doesn't matter at this point. This has been 2 or 3 years, but I had pictures of my girlfriend on my computer, and it was kind of
allegedly
sticky.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Allegedly.
So charges were all dropped?
Yes.
Good.
I feel
lucky.
Lucky.
It's always good to hear when
was this
BS charges are dropped.
So this was a criminal charge, because criminal charge it'd have to be over 10 grand, or I forget what the number is, but it's a very high number.
No. They weren't going after him for the copyrighted material. They found that when they were searching for something else.
Yes,
right.
And they attempted to do
it, right? You got charged for copyright, right?
They attempted to, but my attorney filed a motion to suppress.
Okay.
And was that successful?
Yes, it was.
Excellent.
See, what blows my mind is how do you put a value, especially on the topic that you're talking about, how do you put a value on something like that? It's not something that's being sold retail, so there's not a value, and it doesn't become criminal until you get to a certain point.
Right, but it's one of those things of we didn't find what we were looking for, so we don't want to just wind up saying, oh, it's a total loss, so we will make up charges. Yeah, and that's what they did. Right. And luckily, Stefan's attorney was able to get that suppressed.
And those stock charges too.
I mean, lucky for me, they wouldn't have found anything anyway, because solid-state drives are wonderful in that way. But
Stefan, thanks for the call. So let's get back into the story about Florida Man number 1 and Florida Man number 2, both of whom had issues with either remembering a password or providing a password or failing to provide a password. The story's a little vague. It sounds like the one guy tried to give the password and it was the wrong password, and the other guy just couldn't remember the password at all. And Chris, number 1, you've got a story from Engadget that delves into this a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just going to kind of hop around here a little bit. And we've talked about the cases. The cases underscore the dilemma faced by law enforcement officers in dealing with newfangled encryption tech. According to the Fifth Amendment, defendants have the right not to say anything that could be used against them, including, you'd think, to say anything that could be anything that could be such as divulging a passcode. However, the judge in the celebrity case, Charles Johnson, thinks it is not a Fifth Amendment matter. Quote, "For me, this is like turning over a key to a safe deposit box." Unquote,
no, it's completely different.
Right.
Because, and we discussed this a few weeks ago when there was the other court case, I think, out of Florida, where a judge ruled that you can be forced to put your thumb or forefinger or whatever on the phone, and the difference is something you have or something you know.
Right.
If the cops tell you, Darryl, I need you to put in the code to unlock the bike lock on your lock. Nope, I am not required to provide you information. But if it was something where, a key, here's a warrant, you must provide us this thing you have.
Yeah, could you imagine if they could force you to tell them where the dead body was?
That's really...
I don't know what dead body you're talking about.
Well, it's a good... hypothetically, it's a really good point. That is just... have no right...
hypothetically also don't know what dead body he's talking about.
Well, it's okay, but I'm just saying that you can... We're supposed to be protected against self-incrimination. And basically...
Supposed to be.
Right, supposed to be. And we either are or we're not. And that's why these court cases drive me nuts, because it should be very clear. Yeah. If you provide this information, are you assisting in some way in your own prosecution, or could you be?
And you're not supposed to have to be able to assist in your own prosecution.
Of course not.
Right. And yeah, it's just...
That's the standard as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law, and also anything you refuse to say will probably wind up being used against you in a court of law, even though your silence is not supposed to be able to be used against you. This is
Supreme Court ruling.
Free
say
Talk
otherwise.
Live, 855-450 free.
Do you need a website for your blog or new business? It can be pretty intimidating on your own, and that's why Free Talk Live has partnered with HostGator, one of the top hosting companies. HostGator offers a simple one-click, easy installation for WordPress, 24/7 over-the-phone or live chat tech support, and a very intuitive, user-friendly control panel that puts the power of creation back into your hands. Go to HostGator.com/FTL and you'll get 50% off of their regular hosting prices. 50% off. HostGator.com/FTL. You've said it yourself. We need a healthcare system that focuses on health, not sickness. Health insurance pays for treating sickness but gives you nothing for being healthy. There's a free market healthcare company that gives you freedom from health insurance. They give you a proactive health assessment daily, no charge 24-hour access to doctors. Check them out right now at healthexcellenceselect.com. Any kind of doctor, traditional, integrative, chiropractic, acupuncture, and massage. You'll love the service and price. healthexcellenceselect.com. healthexcellenceselect.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Lil Drums. Every bit as fun as a full-size Nestle drumstick cone, and definitely cuter. Visit us at drumstick.com. Vacations are all about family time, but you don't have to leave home to have fun. Take 1 weekend a month and devote it to family activities. Pull out the board games and puzzles, serve up some treats, or have a picnic. Even without leaving home, you'll feel like you've really had some time away. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1. Share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, June 2nd, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.20 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,263 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1.3 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,427. And Howard.com reports last week gunmen attacked a busload of Coptic Christians heading to a monastery in southern Egypt. The Islamic State was quick to claim credit for the strike, and by the end of the first day, Egypt's military junta responded with a flurry of airstrikes against militant camps outside of Derna, Libya. The attacks were popular domestically, so they did some more, and have continued throughout the week, striking Derna's camps, claiming they pose a direct threat to Egypt. Analysts, however, say this is really unlikely, and that indeed these camps almost certainly have nothing to do with the bus attack that preceded them. Derna is well known as a rebel hub with a lot of small factions starting up there. Indeed, the Islamic State affiliate in Libya was located there at one time, though that was years ago. If the Islamic State did indeed attack the bus, and signs are they probably did, it was likely Egypt's own affiliate of the Islamic State and not the Libyan affiliate, and either way they had nothing to do with the Derna camps being hit. Egypt has had long-standing problems with militant groups attacking their Christian minority, and those attacks have almost exclusively been homegrown. Reacting by attacking something in Libya was a convenient distraction for the junta, and when the Egyptian public started cheering their firm response, they kept doing it. At this point, however, Egyptian officials are freely admitting that they are not targeting specific groups with the airstrikes in Derna, and that they're hitting random camps on the assumption that all the groups targeted have the same ideology as the bus attackers, which is good enough for them. Indeed, some analysts believe that Egypt's junta, long keen on exporting their style of government to Libya by backing General Khalifa Haftar, have been drawing up plans for attacking Derna and other rebel hotbeds in eastern Libya long before the bus attack ever happened, and this just served as a useful pretext to go ahead with them. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a jury on Thursday convicted 3 sheriff's correctional deputies of second-degree murder in the fatal beating of a mentally ill inmate 2 years ago in San Jose, California. Matthew Ferris, Rafael Rodriguez, and Gerard Lubrin were the Santa Clara County deputies who were found guilty. The guards faced sentencing on September 1st with a minimum 15 years to life in prison with the possibility of parole. The jurors reached its verdict after 3 days of deliberation in the 2-month trial. The guards were charged with killing Michael Tyree and assaulting another mentally ill inmate, Juan Villa, at the Santa Clara County Main Jail on August 26, 2015. Villa testified against the deputies during the trial. District Attorney Jeff Rosen said, "We cannot and did not turn away from the tragedy of Michael Tyree. We will never forget Michael Tyree in our fight for those who see vulnerabilities as an opportunity to harm rather than help." Tyree was found in his cell naked and covered in vomit and feces. He had lacerations to the liver and spleen, which was nearly severed in two. Defense attorneys argued that Tyree died after falling from his toilet into a sink in his cell. The deputies were arrested one day after the coroner ruled on August 31st, 2015 that Tyree had died from internal bleeding due to blunt force trauma. Prosecution witnesses testified the correctional deputies enjoyed physically attacking inmates. In December, Santa Clara County agreed to pay $3.6 million to settle an excessive force claim filed by Tyree's family. Santa Clara County Sheriff Lori Smith said her department will not be defined by the actions of these three individuals, adding, "We're proud that justice was served and that those who are culpable are behind bars." Born into a devastating world and raised among the crowd, the Cloudwalker assumes a new identity and begins the unrelenting quest for truth. In this epic journey, he discovers dark secrets about aspects of his previous life that he once trusted. Through the Journal of the Cloudwalker, he shares both the traumatic hardships and the eternal beauties of his experiences. Dear Society by the Cloudwalker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
According to a new report, the vast majority of Americans simply want to be safe, happy, rich, comfortable, entertained, thin, and romantically fulfilled. The Onion spoke to a few of the survey's respondents who also claimed they want to be healthy, fulfilled, and successful and energized at all times.
All I want is a low-stress job, a nice house, affordable health care, and low gas prices, you know? It'd be nice to have a 35-hour work week, delicious food that's actually good for me, strong friendships, and free high-speed Wi-Fi wherever I go.
I think I'm entitled to wealth, love, cheap education, a fair legal process.
According to the survey, 63% of all Americans want their summers to be hot but not too hot. 85% want the government to stop all wars, end world hunger, and make quick and easy weight loss possible. 93% want to be emotionally satisfied, plus a soulmate, unconditional love from their parents, and a big happy dog.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, 8:55, 450 free, kicking off hour number 2. In studio, it's Darryl,
Chris,
and Chris.
You might be wondering, where is Ian? Well, Ian's in New York City. I believe he's probably heading back now from the Talkers Convention, which is a big convention thing that happens where they've got radio people from all over the country.
Yeah, and it's put on by Talkers Magazine, which is pretty much the industry standard trade magazine for the talk radio industry. And Free Talk Live bumped up 2 spots.
Oh, yeah, number 29 on the Heavy 100 now.
In 2016, we were at number 31.
And it was just a couple of years ago when Free Talk Live was 47.
Yep.
So as the saying from the old show goes, moving on up.
To the top.
To the high-rise apartment in the sky.
At some point, we'll be right there under El Rushbo. Who's been number one for
might take a while.
Been there for a while.
But it's a really good networking opportunity, and it's something that definitely needs to happen.
Yeah, and I think it's I think it's very cool. It's one of the things that most impressed me that this show is recognized as one of the in the industry is one of the most important shows in America, and there's a lot of talk radio out there.
Yes.
Below number 29, there are a whole lot of names that most people would recognize that are kind of household names when you think of talk radio.
Yep, and if you go back through the history of Free Talk Live is the longest running show in its day part. So from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern, there is not a nationally syndicated radio program that has been live in that time slot for longer.
Yeah, and very few are 7 days a week. A lot of them will do weekdays, or they're only on the weekends, or things like that. But this is 7 days a week.
Yep.
365 days a year.
Yep.
We're always here.
Thanksgiving, Christmas, Turkey Gobble Day, Flag Day, whatever other day you want to celebrate. We're here and always online at freetalklive.com. Let's go to the phones 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Sarah calling in from Albuquerque. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts. Oh,
Sarah.
Hold on. Sarah, are you there? Hello, Sarah. I'm not sure.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. You know what? My phone got put on mute. I just pressed the wrong button. I don't know. Sometimes it does that.
Ah, okay. I was wondering if it was our software, your phone, or something with the connection. But you're on. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Okay, yeah. It was I get confused with the mute and unmute. But you know what? Hey, great! Congratulations to the Move On Up.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you.
Your show is moving up. But you know something? I take the credit because I have been calling for the last year.
Wow.
Hey, come on. You know what?
Hey,
what was the ranking before I called it?
That is an excellent point. Sarah, I'm happy to give all the credit to you. You alone.
Well, not all of it, but you guys let me talk, especially I want to talk about how our Republican governor has vetoed the gas tax.
Good.
So
He vetoed a tax increase. That's always a good thing.
That's good news. Thank you.
I wish he would sign a reduction of the gas tax. Although, Sarah, I'm fairly certain you disagree.
Oh, you know something? But the only thing that's going to count is the Albuquerque election about the gas tax. You know, it seems like what holds up is what the voters decide. But they have not decided what ballot it's going to be on. I'm like, it's going to be on the ballot, but which ballot? The runoff, October 3rd, what next year? What city election? Nobody knows.
Well, that's something you would need to ask your city councilors on, not us. Sarah, thank you for the call. Let's change gears slightly and go back kind of to the topic that we started the show on, although this is, slightly different. So we started off talking about a pair of men in Florida that one of them provided a bad passcode to his cell phone, wound up getting sentenced to 180 days for contempt of court. The other guy wound up forgetting the password completely because his device had been seized 10 months prior, and he wound up having those charges dropped against him, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Yep. Is there a little bit more to this? Because I definitely want to get it. Other Chris has a story about a really strange search warrant to where like an entire apartment complex got searched.
Yeah, I just wanted to continue. We were talking about how the judge said, for me, it's, not a Fifth Amendment matter. For me, this is like turning over a key to a safe deposit box, he said. An accused may in some cases be forced to surrender a key to a strong box containing incriminating documents, but I do not believe he can be compelled to reveal the combination to his wall safe by word or deed. He's referring to a statement made by Supreme Court Justice John Paul Stevens in a 1998 case dissent that stated police should be able to compel defendants to turn over a safe key, but not a combination.
Right, so
Quote,
that's the difference between something you know versus something you have.
Correct. Quote, an accused may in some cases be forced to surrender a key to a strong box containing incriminating. That's what I just read. In other words, if a defendant makes use of, quote, the contents of his own mind, unquote, as the Supreme Court of the United States put it, he should be protected by the Fifth. And when we talk about passcodes and passwords, we are certainly talking about something that is within one's mind.
Right, and you have to wonder, and maybe there's a little bit of conspiracy theorist inside of me, but you have to wonder if the drive for biometric sort of thing of unlock it with your thumb or your pinky finger or your retinal scanner,
your voice,
the face, take a picture of your face to unlock your phone. You have to wonder if some of this is not driven by law enforcement wanting to make it easier to be able to search people's devices.
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and it's one of those things. You know that Google and Apple work very closely with the NSA and the FBI. I mean, we see it in the headlines. We see it in what Edward Snowden released. It's It's very, very clear. So I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility. I think it makes it all the more important for everybody possible to challenge these attempts to destroy your supposedly constitutionally protected right against self-incrimination.
Oh, so I just had a thought. So, the put your thumb to unlock the device. You don't have to use your thumb. You could use any of your fingers. So if you use something other than your thumb...
No, Darryl, we've talked about this on the air before.
Hold on. So,
I use a very different part of my anatomy to unlock my devices.
That's fine. And I don't need to know which one of your toes you use, but... or your knee. But, if it's not your thumb and the cop... winds up, because courts have ruled they can put your thumb up against your device. If it doesn't unlock, are you required to tell them which digit you used to lock the device?
Right. Is it left thumb? Is it right thumb? Is it any finger?
Then it's
or
a
something
mix
else?
of something you know and something you have.
What I want to know is they can force you to provide a key. Well, you have to tell them where the key is. Does that not come from the mind?
Not necessarily.
If they found the key, for example.
Sure, but if they're going to force you to give you the key, right?
True, but if let's say they found the key ring. The key ring was in your pockets when they searched.
But that's not what that article was saying. That was the 1998 case, was it?
Yes, and I really have not researched that previous case.
I would be interested
to speak to it, but it would be a good one to talk about.
My thinking is along those lines of they pat you down. Here's a key ring,
right?
And one of these looks like the key that goes to a locked box, and we know that you have a locked box, and we've seized the key, so therefore, we can take it. But
then you open it. You don't need me to do it.
That is a good question of, if you just carry around a bunch of master lock keys just for the sake of carrying around master lock keys, do you have to tell them which one goes to the lock on your closet? This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE.
For P150, P150GA, P150NY, P150OK, P150TN, C250A, C250E, C250Q. Not available in all states. If New York or Colorado, call for a similar offer.
What's the scariest thing about going to the dentist? Opening your mouth or opening your wallet? Because just a simple cleaning can cost $100, and things like root canals can cost you hundreds more. If you don't have dental insurance to help, call Physicians Mutual Insurance Company, 1-800-972-1059. This isn't a discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance that helps pay for checkups right away. So you can call today and get your teeth cleaned tomorrow. Plus, it helps cover the more expensive procedures you might need down the road. Fillings, crowns, bridges, even costly dentures. There's no deductible and no annual maximum. Your acceptance is guaranteed for one of these insurance policies, even if you're retired. There are no networks, so you can choose any dentist you'd like. Call now for a free information kit with all the details. 1-800-972-1059. That's 1-800-972-1059. 1-800-972-1059.
Hi there, I'm Bob Eubanks. As part of Hollywood for a long time, I've seen my fair share of celebrities get in trouble with the IRS. Well, there's one name I trust, the Tax Defense Group. They're the most trusted name in tax. So if you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS, you really need to call my friends at the Tax Defense Group. Ignoring the IRS is not the solution. They can garnish your paycheck, levy your bank accounts, seize your home or business. But the Tax Defense Group could put a stop to all of that and tailor a program that would reduce your tax debt to pennies on the dollar. You gotta love that. So don't just take my word for it. Call them. Find out for yourself. They offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee. And they're open 24 hours a day because they know that tax debt doesn't sleep either.
Call now for your free and confidential tax analysis from the most trusted name in tax. Call 800-361-6907. 800-361-6907.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! On your knees! What's the
problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio, it's Darryl,
Chris,
and Chris.
And Bitcoin.com is a unique online destination, and it's really like the go-to destination in the Bitcoin universe. If you want to buy some Bitcoin, you can find out how to do it at Bitcoin.com. You want to speak your mind to other Bitcoin users? Well, the forums over at Bitcoin.com are always open and censorship-free at forum.bitcoin.com. There are no bigger believers in the Bitcoin universe than the team at Bitcoin.com. That's why this is a one-stop shop for everything you need to know to get into Bitcoin life. You can also play games at games.bitcoin.com. Go there to learn more about Bitcoin. That's bitcoin.com. We're discussing these stories, rather strange stories out of Florida, and it's leading into a broader conversation about the authority of police to seize devices or seize things that you have. We need to get into your lockbox down at your safe deposit box. Hand us the safe deposit key. Well, it's somewhere. Are you required to tell them where you store the safe deposit key?
Right.
You're required to give them the safe deposit key if you have it on your person, is my understanding. But do you have to tell them which key on the key ring? So maybe you have multiple safe deposit boxes, and you keep the safe deposit key for the other safe deposit boxes in a different safe deposit. That's like, the ultimate multi-sig sort of thing. Like, I've got to go to the safe deposit box over here to get the key to get into the other safe deposit box.
Yeah, and it sounds like we're making fun of all this, but we're certainly not. This has real implications on what our lives and what our liberties look like moving forward in an increasingly digital world, and we should all be concerned about this.
And an increasingly tyrannical police state.
Sure.
And before anybody calls in to say, well, things are so much worse in North Korea, I'm not saying things are better in North Korea.
Right.
I can acknowledge, there's degrees of tyranny.
Right.
And we're definitely not on the free side of that scale.
Right.
Like, if there's the scales of justice and one side is freedom and one side is tyranny, we're definitely not in the free side of the scale.
Yeah, and the argument that, well, if you bell curve it, we're pretty good shape. Or if you look at a list of the 100 freest countries, we're kind of towards the top. Nobody should be satisfied.
That's grading on a curve.
Yeah, nobody should be happy with that. Yeah, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
You don't quit. You don't stop until you are the freest country and the freest people.
I realize everybody got a failing grade on this, but you got the highest failing grade.
Exactly.
So, therefore, you should be happy that you didn't get the lowest failing grade. Well, no, it's still a failing grade. Nobody passed this class.
Do we segue over into our public school system? Because that's kind of what it sounds like now.
But that's this whole grading on a curve thing to where whoever gets the highest score winds up getting a trophy. Well, it doesn't matter because everybody flunked the damn test.
We're number one, Darryl, in people incarcerated.
Freedom, that would be Hong Kong and New Zealand.
No, I was going to say number of people in prison.
Number of bombs dropped around the world, number of military bases around the world, military spending.
Are we second? I think we're second to China, though, right?
In what?
In incarcerations?
No.
As a percentage of population?
I don't believe so.
Are we?
No.
Did we really hit number one?
I think
we've been at number one for a long time.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I thought we were number two to China.
They might have a higher raw number of inmates, but when you look at percentage of population,
which is what we're talking about.
Definitely number one.
Wow.
Because China has 3 times as many people as the United States.
Right. Of
okay,
course.
Worldwide prison population per 100, United States at 724 people per 100,000. In Russia, it's 581. 145 people per 100,000 in England. South Africa, Poland, China's actually way down there as a percentage of population.
But if you look at just the raw number of inmates, China and the U.S. are very close to one another on that raw number of inmates. But again, they have 3 times the population.
Right.
So are we basically done with the cell phone story?
2.3 million people around mid-2015 were in prison in China. 2.3 million.
And about 1.7 in the U.S., I believe?
Yeah, I'm looking for a number there, and I don't see one.
The last number that I
around.
saw was a couple years old, and that's how figures are. They never come out, oh, yes, here's how many people were arrested yesterday. It's always, several months later. There were X number of people arrested in May.
Okay, according to Prison Policy Initiative, it's estimated that there are about 2.298 1,300 people incarcerated in the United States.
2.29 million in the U.S., 2.3 million in China.
Oh, that is neck and neck.
That's neck and neck.
Yeah.
And again, they have 3 times as many people.
Yeah.
So let's jump into this other tech-ish story about something with an IP address. And, Chris, you have to remember that not everybody is technically as knowledgeable on things. So, try to use dumb people terms so that the people at the back of the class, can fully understand. So IP is Internet Protocol. So when you go to www.facebook.com, the computer winds up deciphering that into some ones and zeros.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's going to be like 192 dot something, but ultimately it gets deciphered into ones and zeros.
It's an actual address.
And at some point, that's how you're able to determine a specific internet connection. So if I were to go down to the library, then, devices in the library are all going to have a very similar IP address.
The whole IP system is kind of complicated because you can have a single system with multiple IP addresses, and then there's internal addresses and there's external addresses.
Right, and then there's all of the IoT devices where your toaster has an IP address for some weird reason. And since I mentioned IoT, I must tell the joke. What does the S stand for in IoT? Security. What does the P stand for in IoT? Privacy, but you will notice that there's not a P or an S in IoT.
Yeah, the way I always explain it is the IP address of a public website is sort of, it is its address. It's just like a street address. And what we use when we type in www.whatever is a way that the internet has been designed so that it makes us easier to remember those addresses.
Right. So
it's an alternative to that number.
To a degree, I would agree with that.
So it's like
really
1600,
dumb it down.
1600 Pennsylvania Avenue is an easy way of knowing where the GPS coordinates are for the White House. Kind of the same sort of thing. Your calls and thoughts. Welcome. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733.
You've heard the phrase, you are what you eat? Not true. Actually, you are what you can absorb. So if the vitamins and supplements you now take are not being absorbed, what good are they? Introducing Protovite, proprietary liquid system that allows premium quality nutrients to positively affect the blood in an astonishing 5 minutes. Watch our amazing 2-minute live blood cell video at TrueHealthFacts.com. That's TrueHealthFacts.com. Then call 502-410-3411. Protovite is nutrition you can feel. Protovite is nutrition that gets in.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
A congressman recently revealed that legislation totaling 2,900 pages and involving more than $1 trillion was available to members of Congress for less than 48 hours to study and consider. That's over 60 pages of legislation per hour. Do you think anyone read the entire bill? I'm Jim Babka with DownsizeDC.org. Consider a proposal buried in a 3,200-page, $388 billion bill, which would have empowered committee chairmen or their agents to examine Americans' tax returns. When this horrible provision came to light, no one claimed to know how it got into the bill. One congressman questioned said, "I didn't write it, I didn't approve it, I wasn't even consulted." If your attorney represented you this way, he might be disbarred. But this is how Congress represents you every day. That's why DownsizeDC.org has created the Read the Bills Act. You can force Congress to read their bills before they pass them at DownsizeDC.org.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help. PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at LRN.FM.
Yeah!
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And other Chris is getting a little flustered. Understandably so, because your knowledge level on this topic is so much higher than mine, and first Chris has a knowledge level that's also higher than mine, but maybe not necessarily as high as yours. And because this is a general audience show, we kind of have to dumb things down. But you did make a good point off the air of one of the problems when you dumb things down too far is it winds up confusing people a little bit. So I had given the analogy of, and I'm trying to understand, like all of the details here, and I think that if I understand it, then other people will as well. I said that the domain name, so like freetalklive.com, that gets translated by a DNS server to where the DNS server knows where to find the info from wherever the website is being hosted. And I said that's akin to you type in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue into Google Maps, and Google Maps translates that to GPS coordinates. And it's not a perfect analogy because, just because I am able to look at the data from freetalklive.com that's being translated, that doesn't necessarily allow me to know where the physical server for Free Talk Live is.
Sure.
But it gives me the data.
Yeah, it's a piece of routing information, I would say. I wouldn't say it's a location, but it's certainly a piece of routing information that you need to get to a location.
Again, it's not an apples to apples comparison. It's more an apples to kumquats comparison because one is getting to a physical location and the other is getting a piece of information. It's kind of like those books, and I never could see the images in these weird books where it's like
magic photo.
You've got to stare past the image to be able to see the sailboat. I never could see the sailboat. But it's one of those things to where, as long as you see the sailboat, it doesn't really matter how you see the sailboat.
Yeah.
You're still seeing the sailboat, and the sailboat is the data.
I think, and another thing that's important for people to understand, and you don't have to know any of the technical part, but understand that when you go to www.google.com or freetalklive.com, you're going to go through a whole bunch of different pieces of equipment to get there.
A whole bunch of different IP addresses.
Yes.
So it's not just one. It could be a dozen.
Oh, true. And a whole bunch of equipment that's owned and IP addresses that are owned by all sorts of different companies.
Right.
And each one of those has the opportunity to take a look at what you're doing.
Yeah, and your data.
If you're not encrypting.
Your data, especially if your data can also go you could end up going through Canada to get to California, for example.
Sure.
At one moment.
Well, that is kind of the shortest route from New Hampshire on the flat Earth.
Jeez.
Well, I mean, the point is that there's different routes you can take. So
right.
It's very unclear, and you can even have a single IP address where you can have two different servers and have one IP address, and you think, okay, an IP address is a specific location, or it translates into some sort of specific location. Well, the problem is that because of the way, it's just one piece of the puzzle. So you can actually have two different servers in two different countries and at two different physical locations and have one IP address.
Right.
Okay, so before we go further off into the technical weeds.
It's a good preface, though, for what you're going to talk about.
Why are we even discussing IP addresses?
Because they're the courts basically sort of don't understand how IP addresses work, and they sort of
because
do,
courts are made up of people that aren't technical wizards.
Yeah.
And they're being asked to do technical wizard things.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
So where's the story coming from?
Okay, so this is coming from TechDirt.
No. I mean, like, is this a court in California, a court in Missouri?
Yes, yeah. So this is the 8th Circuit Appeals Court.
Okay, 8th Circuit Court of Appeals, and they were asked to make a ruling on IP addresses of something.
So let me.
Yeah, just jump into the article
story.
Here. Yeah, jump into the article.
We haven't even gotten to the story. So Basically, what happened was the police had a IP address for somebody who did something. I guess that they're some sort of illegal thing happened. All right. In this case, it's child porn, some sort of child porn thing. Okay.
All right. Somebody was allegedly looking at some child porn. The cops,
presumably.
That's why I said allegedly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The cops were able to, through some technique, figure out an IP address,
right,
and then through some other technique, sort of pinpoint of it's somewhere in this area.
What they did basically was they go to the internet service provider, they look up who the internet service provider is, and then they get a warrant. Or no, actually, I think it's a subpoena. Sorry. They get a subpoena, which basically demands or tells the ISP that they have to provide the physical address of the person who's associated with that IP address at a given time.
Right.
This doesn't really necessarily tell them the physical location of a server, but it does tell them who owns it. And
right, but in this case, they're not looking for a server; they're looking for a customer. They're looking for the internet customer.
Then they jump to the conclusion that the whatever computer or device is at that address of the customer. So which can get really screwed up if, for instance, you have internet access somewhere else and your billing address is somewhere else, and there's all sorts of weird stuff that can happen.
Or I use my neighbor's Wi-Fi because they don't lock it down.
So we'll delve into this a little bit more. First to the phones, 855-450 free. We've got Sam calling in from Fort Worth, Texas. Sam, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts. Hello, Sam. Sam in Fort Worth, going once. Sam.
Hello.
Yes.
Hey, Sam.
You're on the air. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Howard Stern.
Okay. So.
No Baba Booey? Come on.
Yeah, whatever. And I love when they cut themselves off. That's fine.
You're doing my job for me, buddy.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you.
So let's jump into this article. Again, out of the 8th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, a man was allegedly, or we think it was a man, might have been a woman, not sure. Some person was allegedly looking at some child porn, and cops wind up getting a warrant to go search where they think this was coming from, and this seems to be not entirely unusual because cops get warrants to go search people's houses for this thing all the time.
Yeah. So what's disturbing about this particular case is that they basically got a warrant to search an entire apartment complex. There were 11 residences. They didn't know this at the time.
So apartment building has 11 different apartments inside of it.
Something to that effect, yeah.
And I don't know which internet company it was, but let's just say Time Warner. Time Warner says, well, the IP address that you've given us originates at 1313 Mockingbird Lane. That's all we know.
Yes.
They don't know it's 1313 Mockingbird Lane, apartment 10. They just know 1313 Mockingbird Lane.
It's just a general kind of area, basically. It's maybe they have that, if maybe not even that, but yeah. So in this case, they did have at least a general area.
Well, the police went to a specific building, correct? So it wasn't like everybody in the western part of Metropolis is getting their houses raided.
What this was a building that was converted into apartment complexes. Or into an apartment complex.
Right. So the police went
to
family
home.
The police went to a building.
Yep.
So it's not like they didn't have an address. They went to an address, and we'll get into the rest of this. And your calls and thoughts. 855-450 free. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
My golden retriever Sundance is a lot more playful now. She has more pep and energy.
Tons of energy.
Happy the rescue dog is happy the healthy dog.
Petey is having fun again. He's got a shiny coat and a good healthy weight.
Molly's been having 4 scoops a day. She pushes her little bowl all the way across the room, emptying every last single crumb. She has slimmed down and gotten this puppy look.
She's got life. She's got energy.
We get asked all the time when we're at shows, how do you get your dog so healthy and shiny and glossy?
DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
The digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
Dinovite is nutrition.
Just feed your dog right.
Do the Dinovite.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000. Dinovite for life.
DINOVITE.com.
BuySellMakeOffer.com is better than ever. I'm Pat Matthews here to tell you that BuySellMakeOffer.com, the revolutionary site for buying and selling anything and everything, just upped the ante. Go right now to BuySellMakeOffer.com and click the Sign Me Up button. When you do, you'll get the first month free, and then it's just $9.95 a month to be a member forever. And you don't need a credit card for the initial setup. Create your own store on the site and sell whatever you want, as long as it's legal, however you want, and sell an unlimited number of items. Create your own intro video to describe what your store is all about. Use Skype to see who you're buying from or selling to. Sell unused household items, as well as antiques, cars, televisions, collectibles, real estate. The possibilities are unlimited. Use social networks to promote your store right from our site. Remember, there are never any fees, no matter how much you sell. Become a member today. I'm a member. Get all your friends to sign up, too. This could become a great business for you. Sell whatever you want for the first 30 days, free at BuySellMakeOffer.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing. To be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We'll get back into the meat of this article out of the 8th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, where the cops got a warrant to search a building that turned out to be an apartment complex with 11 apartments in it. And it's not just that they searched that, they went above and beyond. We'll get into it. But have you ever noticed sometimes you feel sluggish and tired after eating a big meal? Well, that's because your body's enzymes are prioritizing the digestion of food. This is why many people take a digestive enzyme supplement. A quality enzyme supplement that contains a full array of enzymes will help digest all 3 macronutrients: proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. This means more energy for you and improved weight management over time. Some nutritional experts even feel a digestive enzyme supplement is more important than a vitamin and mineral supplement. But with Whole Food Multi-Complete, you don't have to pick between the two. Why not both? Well, yeah, why not? You can get that with Whole Food Multi-Complete because they include both vitamins and minerals and a digestive enzyme in a single product. And not only that, they include 5 other classes of nutrients, a total of 54 nutrients in one product. That's a lot. For 15 years, Whole Food Multi-Complete has combined digestive enzymes, vitamins, minerals, probiotics, antioxidants, herbal immune support, and more into that single product. They're the only one that does a 7-in-1 product, and they're making thousands of people healthier while saving them thousands of dollars. Get 30% off with code FTL on your first order. That basically means you get it at cost. Head over simplifymysupplements.com. Use code FTL.
One thing I did not see in that read, because I checked out that website when I heard the first promo for it, they take Bitcoin.
Yes, they do take Bitcoin, and I'm glad you mentioned that because the old copy that we had scribbled at the bottom, mention Bitcoin.
But I went to their site, and it's like, yeah, Bitcoin accepted. I'm like, wow, very cool.
They do take Bitcoin, and it's a little bit different. So it's not, you go through the normal checkout process, so you do have to send them an email, but that's embedded on the site.
Yeah.
Mention code FTL in that email to get that 30% off. And they have free shipping on orders over $60.
Sweet.
Which is basically you order a 2-month supply, you get free shipping. And with code FTL, you save 30% on that first order.
All right, so back to the appeals court. All right, the Eighth Circuit of Appeals Court has handed down a judicial shrug in a case where the police decided an IP address was pretty much all they needed to search 11 occupants and their devices for child porn. Qualified immunity is upheld, despite the fact that the officers searched rooms they possibly had no Fourth Amendment permission to search, and despite the fact that no child porn was discovered anywhere on the multiple devices they seized. The devices had a warrant to search. The detectives had a warrant to search a single-family dwelling. This residence had been split into unofficial apartments.
Okay, so this gives me a little bit more information here, because my first thought was, we know that this internet connection is originating from 1313 Mockingbird Lane, and we're just going to put on the warrant 1313 Mockingbird Lane. Not, we're searching 1313 Mockingbird Lane, comma, a single-family residence.
Right, but they also didn't say 1313 Mockingbird Lane apartment B.
Right, and these are like basement apartments.
But
they found out when they got
Time Warner doesn't realize that there are multiple apartments in the address, and Time Warner is forced to give the police the location of the connection.
So there's whole countries that are behind a single public IP address. You see the problem here?
Right.
I mean, so are you going to search a building that's 100 apartments or 1,000? I'm
not going to search any buildings because I'm not one of these little tyrants.
But it's just so ridiculous. Like the whole idea that they find out they get there, they find out there's multiple people living in multiple apartments here. You think they could go back and get a warrant for maybe a specific apartment? Of course, they don't have enough information to really get a warrant on a specific apartment.
Or you
they
would
don't.
Think,
and this is the problem.
You would think that and. Again, I'm not a technical Einstein by any stretch of the imagination, but I do know that there's something called a MAC address. Don't ask me what the hell MAC stands for, but I know that that's a thing to where you can know a specific device.
No.
Well, yeah, and in this case, it seems like basically you had this house that got converted into a whole bunch of apartments, and whoever did this, it sounds like, set up an account with the cable company or whatever it happens to be to get internet access, and they set up, say, a wireless router in the building, and they said, you know what, part of the perks of living here, I'll give you free Wi-Fi, or for $10 a month, we'll give you the password.
I've lived in apartment complexes that were not, turned into, from big houses or mansions or whatever into apartments, but were built from scratch to be apartment complexes.
Right.
And there were many people living in these apartment complex buildings. I think there was at least 3 buildings on each side. So there was at least 6 buildings. There was at least 3 floors. Each had at least 3 apartments. So, you could just get the idea of how many different...
Did they provide internet access for all buildings?
Physical addresses, there would have been 2 physical addresses, though, so I guess you'd have to divide that by half. But still, the point is, if they had gone and gotten a warrant to search, they would have been able to search the entire apartment complex.
This is the problem where you have people that are not technical wizards being asked to make technical wizard decisions.
Well, forget about the courts in this. Let's go back to the cops. Because the cops...
They're also being asked to make technical wizard decisions.
Well, excuse me, but the cops now all employ somebody who is considered, quote-unquote, an expert in internet crime or something like that. A department of any size either has somebody like that, or they have a go-to guy in another department, or a liaison with the FBI, or whatever it happens to be.
Yeah, the way that works usually is that there's a state. Each state has a department that even local cops, like even if there's only a handful of people on the police department or a part-time cop, they can go to the state police, basically, or some division thereof, and get technical assistance on cases where they do not have the capacity to do these things.
So in this case, they show up and... Oh, there's 11 apartments here. We're searching all of them. At least one of the people was not home, so the cops went to where this guy works?
Let me keep reading. So the detectives had a warrant to search a single-family dwelling. This residence had been split into unofficial apartments. Despite there being some clear delineation between the multiple private spaces, the police decided the original warrant covered every separate residence inside the residence or the apartment complex, essentially. They come, if you look further down, they actually had them split off. So, like, the basement was an apartment, right?
Right.
Outside entrance probably. This is not, a bunch of people just living in a house and renting
a room.
Like a room. This was very clear delineation here.
But because the police did not know this came from apartment 3...
See, the thing is, there's already precedent on this, and they had the opportunity to go out and get warrants that were more specific.
Oh, you're assuming that the cops are going to understand or know that there's all of this precedent. I'm not. I am in no way defending what they're doing here. I'm just, trying to sort of play devil's advocate of... Well, they don't know. Ignorance of the law is definitely an excuse for them, but not for you.
Right.
Not
for the police,
me.
it's definitely an excuse.
So they show
the
up and, they're just like, oh, well, we got a warrant for 1313 Mockingbird Lane. We're going to search every room in this building. Doesn't matter that it's separate because we don't know which room this guy is in that we're looking for.
Yeah, let me continue because this is going to get you more details. So let's see here. Detective Smith, accompanied by Minute Police Surgeon Dave Goodman and Detective Krista Thompson, plus 6 other law enforcement officials, arrived at the residence on the morning of May 6, 2014 to execute the search warrant. Once inside, law enforcement officials interviewed the persons present and learned that the residences had as many as 11 occupants, some of whom sublet basements, and all of whom could access the internet service wirelessly. No child pornography was found during the search of the entire building. Inside a basement bedroom that Doe and another person rented.
And I'm guessing they're using, like John Doe, the person, names not being made public.
Yeah, presumably.
Presumably. There's more on this that we'll get into, and of course, your calls and thoughts. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. What are your thoughts on cops just getting a warrant for, well, it's somewhere in this building, but we don't know where, or we think it's here, but, oh, it's not. Oops, sorry. This is Free Talk Live.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phone, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com.
Imagine, if you will, a virtual world, a symbiotic economy with its own currency, where you can barter your services with others. Symbi.com is a marketplace of real people exchanging skills and services, from web developers, marketers, video production specialists, and teachers of all sorts, to gaming consulting or fitness coaching. Symbi.com is a vast world of people trading freely. Take my word for it, it's an adventure you can't afford to miss. Simbi.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, June 2nd, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.20 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,263 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1.3 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,427. And Howard.com reports last week gunmen attacked a busload of Coptic Christians heading to a monastery in southern Egypt. The Islamic State was quick to claim credit for the strike, and by the end of the first day, Egypt's military junta responded with a flurry of airstrikes against militant camps outside of Derna, Libya. The attacks were popular domestically, so they did some more, and have continued throughout the week, striking Derna's camps, claiming they pose a direct threat to Egypt. Analysts, however, say this is really unlikely, and that indeed these camps almost certainly have nothing to do with the bus attack that preceded them. Derna is well known as a rebel hub with a lot of small factions starting up there. Indeed, the Islamic State affiliate in Libya was located there at one time, though that was years ago. If the Islamic State did indeed attack the bus, and signs are they probably did, it was likely Egypt's own affiliate of the Islamic State and not the Libyan affiliate, and either way they had nothing to do with the Derna camps being hit. Egypt has had long-standing problems with militant groups attacking their Christian minority, and those attacks have almost exclusively been homegrown. Reacting by attacking something in Libya was a convenient distraction for the junta, and when the Egyptian public started cheering their firm response, they kept doing it. At this point, however, Egyptian officials are freely admitting that they are not targeting specific groups with the airstrikes in Derna, and that they're hitting random camps on the assumption that all the groups targeted have the same ideology as the bus attackers, which is good enough for them. Indeed, some analysts believe that Egypt's junta, long keen on exporting their style of government to Libya by backing General Khalifa Haftar, have been drawing up plans for attacking Derna and other rebel hotbeds in eastern Libya long before the bus attack ever happened, and this just served as a useful pretext to go ahead with them. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a jury on Thursday convicted 3 sheriff's correctional deputies of second-degree murder in the fatal beating of a mentally ill inmate 2 years ago in San Jose, California. Matthew Ferris, Rafael Rodriguez, and Gerard Lubrin were the Santa Clara County deputies who were found guilty. The guards faced sentencing on September 1st with a minimum 15 years to life in prison with the possibility of parole. The jurors reached its verdict after 3 days of deliberation in the 2-month trial. The guards were charged with killing Michael Tyree and assaulting another mentally ill inmate, Juan Villa, at the Santa Clara County Main Jail on August 26, 2015. Villa testified against the deputies during the trial. District Attorney Jeff Rosen said, "We cannot and did not turn away from the tragedy of Michael Tyree. We will never forget Michael Tyree in our fight for those who see vulnerabilities as an opportunity to harm rather than help." Tyree was found in his cell naked and covered in vomit and feces. He had lacerations to the liver and spleen, which was nearly severed in two. Defense attorneys argued that Tyree died after falling from his toilet into a sink in his cell. The deputies were arrested 1 day after the coroner ruled on August 31, 2015 that Tyree had died from internal bleeding due to blunt force trauma. Prosecution witnesses testified the correctional deputies enjoyed physically attacking inmates. In December, Santa Clara County agreed to pay $3.6 million to settle an excessive force claim filed by Tyree's family. Santa Clara County Sheriff Lori Smith said her department will not be defined by the actions of these 3 individuals, adding, "We're proud that justice was served and that those who are culpable are behind bars." Born into a devastating world and raised among the crowd, the Cloudwalker assumes a new identity and begins the unrelenting quest for truth. In this epic journey, he discovers dark secrets about aspects of his previous life that he once trusted. Through the Journal of the Cloudwalker, he shares both the traumatic hardships and the eternal beauties of his experiences. Dear Society by the Cloudwalker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
If you're one of the many frustrated singles who suffer from online dating fatigue, you might just be in luck. A new dating website launched this week that caters to fed-up men and women who simply want to meet eligible singles with unbroken skin or open sores similar to their own. It's called Last Shot.
If you're one of those people who's just ready to throw your hands up in the air and start a life with someone who has unbroken lesion-free skin, or on the other hand, if you're open to someone who has boils and abscesses similar to your own, Last Shot is perfectly calibrated to your needs.
Boasting a user-friendly interface and affordable dues of $4.99 a month, Last Shot simply asks users to log in, then click yes or no if they have open sores. Within moments, they're connected with hundreds of eligible singles who have comparable skin conditions. Reviews have been overwhelmingly positive. Arcuri hopes to one day introduce an upgraded membership experience, which would allow exasperated singles to filter for specific skin conditions.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, kicking off hour number 3 in studio. It's Darryl,
Chris,
and Chris,
and we're discussing this story out of the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals. You had mentioned Minot. I believe that's in North Dakota, where it doesn't really matter exactly where in the U.S. it is, because like the court precedent should kind of be the same, and I realize that there's different circuit court ruling, like the Ninth Circuit has made certain rulings, but in this particular case there was someone that went to allegedly a child porn website, allegedly had downloaded some child porn. The police go to the internet service provider and say, tell us where this IP connection originated from. Internet service provider says it came from this address.
Right.
And the police go to that address, find that the building had been converted from a single-family residence into 11 distinct apartments. And then the police decided to make the decision then and there that, well, we can just search every one of these independent apartments. And there's more on this story, but luckily, and I don't say this often, luckily we have a police officer that has called in and probably knows a little bit more about the legal aspect of this than what we're speculating at.
We'll see if it lines up with what I'm about to read after him.
Yep,
after he
we
talks.
have Patrick from Bullhead City, Arizona on the line. Patrick, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Well, it's a touchy situation when you go in and serve a warrant. If you have specific targets that you're going for, you're usually briefed prior to going in there to what to look for. In that particular case, I don't know how they could actually hold it against somebody in there if it's the IP address. That sounds like a real tough situation. But when you go into a house, you're told, don't toss the place. As you being a corrections officer, you know what I'm saying. You go in there with respect to people's items and goods. Generally speaking, on child porn, it's such a major issue right now in law enforcement today that what's happening is you're finding more and more of it. Actually, mistaken situations where people didn't know and they clicked on a link and it went to it, things of that sort.
Sure.
So I would assume that from my experience is that unless they actually had a specific tag to that individual, it would be one of those cases that would probably go to court, but they wouldn't find enough evidence because they couldn't tag a particular individual unless he had an encrypted computer that had his own name and they could identify it to him. Now, I really think that they're reaching when they do something like that. And because basically what they're doing at that point is looking for anything, as you would say, anything that would be illegal, which technically they can't. Because if they're serving a warrant for a particular item, that's what the judge signs it for them to look for.
Right, and this sounds like there was a warrant for an address and something that they were looking for from that address, but they did not know which occupant of the address.
I mean, the electronic devices are so broad, though. I mean, it's not a specific, thing. It's technically a specific thing to be searched, but it's not really.
And at home, it's my elliptical device. It's got an IP address, right? So you're going to search my elliptical.
What if an IP address was bounced? And we've had a few issues where we've had people that were using whatever, I don't know what it's called. I'm not a computer expert.
Well, there's also the IP spoofers to where somebody can make it look like they're connecting from the White House internet connection.
Sure.
Yeah, and if they had a Wi-Fi, right? If they had a Wi-Fi in this house where everybody was connected,
They did.
It wasn't secured. It could have been anybody from that whole area because you can pull up next to a restaurant, your car phone starts clicking.
Right. Yep. So Patrick, from your point of view, if you were asked to go execute this warrant, would you have some questions? We have an IP address. Yeah. And that makes me wonder, number one, why the cops didn't ask more questions when they saw what this was. Why didn't they get some clarification?
Well, what you'd have to do is you'd have to break up each individual individually away from the other so you don't have collusion. And you don't sweat them. You ask them basic questions that apply to the initial warrant. Now, that's very specific because when you go to court on this as an officer, you're asked all these questions by, the defense attorneys. And they are very specific in what questions you ask, such as, are you the recent occupant? Were you on this? Are you on the computer from time? You ask them what their job schedules are. That's important because it applies to the alibi of them being there.
In this situation, again, there were 11 distinct apartments in this building, each with their own entrance. So it wasn't something of you had just, roommates of, that door over there is Johnny's room. This door is Kathy's room. This was 11 distinct apartments in one building. So are you saying that you would then go and knock on all 11 doors and request their electronic devices because the warrant says 1313 Mockingbird Lane?
Well, generally, you can get a lot of information for one person when you talk in a rational, humanistic way, you know, a non-threatening posture and everything. You could generally rule out right away people that, okay, well, this guy works. He works at evening hours. Okay,
yeah.
And if you actually have hits on that, then you can start ruling them out. But in a case like that, unless you had specifics and you had the actual computer, like I said, that had the address on it, you know, the actual time frame of which they logged on and everything like that,
right?
It would be a hard case to try, for one thing, and then second of all, it sounds like it was a blown warrant.
Now, what it sounds like to me is a horrible warrant that should never have occurred. You can't. It would be no different than me serving a warrant on an entire apartment building. You would say it's a regular apartment building.
That's basically what they did here.
Exactly.
That's exactly what they did.
Say it's Trump Tower. I'm going to serve a warrant on Trump Tower because we believe somebody in here. And you don't have enough information for a warrant. I'm sorry, that's it.
As other Chris said, there are some small countries where all of the internet traffic is running through one IP address.
Sure. So
right, exactly. So you wouldn't be able to do it. But the one thing that I mean, I'd be worried if I were these officers for one reason is because, A, first of all, it draws such negative attention to that particular department, and two, it goes up the line to the judge that issued the warrant. And I mean, they don't like negative press, nor do they like any kind of retribution from the public. Especially today, because everybody's after us, you know. We make one little mistake and boom, you know, we're in the news. But the fact is that it sounds to me like they overstepped their bounds. And I speaking from a fellow, from being a law enforcement, I know, you know, there are certain ways, but it's reaching out here. It takes about probably the 2 to 3 month investigation on somebody before we can even serve a warrant on that. And generally, they have a cut and dry case. It isn't, and it's the individual they identify. You need to identify the individual before you can actually go in there and go after it.
Patrick,
you just can't go after somebody's computer.
Thank you for the call. This is Free Talk Live.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is digital cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org. Dash is digital cash, a digital currency designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime, for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is the first digital money that's governed by its users. Join Dash and help us build a better financial system for everyone. Find out more at dash.org. That's dash.org.
Aging is one thing that affects everyone. George has talked about the power of stem cells for years. Now there's a new serum that harnesses that stem cell power to bring back your youthful look. Beverly Hills doctor Nathan Newman.
Stem cells are basically our fountain of youth. This is what maintains our body's reparative, regenerative abilities. As we age, every cell breaks down and needs to be replaced, and what replaces it is the stem cell.
Dr. Newman and Janess have developed Lumin-S. Lumin-S Luminous takes the science of stem cells, using the same growth factor complex that literally heals our cells, slowing the appearance of the aging process. Apply Luminous twice daily, and on average, see results in a week. Learn more, watch our video, and order today at a special Coast website, healthylooking.com. Plus, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. Again, that's healthylooking.com. Luminous, for a healthier, much younger, better-looking you. Buy now at healthylooking.com.
Are you a sneezer? If you're not, can you get close to one? I don't literally mean someone sneezing. Sneezer, as defined by marketing guru Seth Godin, is an opinion leader. When a sneezer mentions something, other people catch what Godin calls the idea virus. Seth Godin says some people are more likely to tell their friends about a great new idea. So identifying and courting sneezers is a key success factor for idea merchants. His book, Unleashing the Idea Virus, is the most downloaded ebook in history, and you can download the whole book free. That's how he's making his idea contagious. Click Tips, Tricks, and other stuff to help you cut through the clutter at www.survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
You may already know about the Free Talk Live audio-on-demand phone line at 641-793-9660. Did you know that not only can you listen to Free Talk Live via your phone, you can also leave a message and have it delivered to Free Talk Live's hosts? To leave us your thoughts, just dial 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. Press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then hit 0 to leave your message.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855 450 free. We'll get back into this story and hopefully find out what has wound up coming out of the 8th Circuit Court regarding the search warrant that was issued for an entire apartment building. And the cops were like, yeah, this seems right, and searched 11 different residences, plus went to one guy's job and seized his car, wound up getting this guy fired. We'll get the conclusion. But maybe you're looking for a better financial system, something that's better for everyone. Well, you should consider joining Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast, private, and easy. The fees are low and transactions are fast or can even be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and making governance decisions. Anyone can invest and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. Join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today. Find out more at dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash, so go to dash.org and find out why.
All right, back to the article. All right, so Doe's life took a hit thanks to officers working with a little more than an IP address, one shared by at least 11 residents, and a warrant that should have been invalid the moment it was served. But the court insists moving ahead with a warrant that describes a living situation completely different than the one actually observed during the warrant service is still a reasonable search that doesn't clearly violate established rights.
Hold on. So let me see if I understand this correctly. The people wound up filing an appeal saying, hey, court, this was not a valid warrant.
So this was a lawsuit.
And the court wound up saying, yeah, even though we didn't name anybody in particular, and even though the judge that wrote the warrant said single-family dwelling, and the cops got there and found out that it's actually 11 different dwellings, doesn't matter, warrant's still valid, they can do whatever they want.
Pretty much. Yeah, I think this is actually a lawsuit against the officers because it's talking about qualified immunity.
Okay.
So let me continue. But basically, yeah.
Well, qualified immunity could also be, I want you to throw out any evidence that they gathered. I want you to throw out the warrant because they should have known better. Well, they've got immunity, so
in this case, there were no charges because there was no child porn found, presumably. So
okay.
Yeah. All right. So as the dissent points out, federal precedent says otherwise. When officers are faced with facts that contradict their sworn assertions, they're supposed to limit their searches to the confines of the warrant they obtained. Failure to do so is to perform searches not backed by probable cause. All right. Federal courts have consistently held that if officers obtain a warrant to search a building containing a single residential unit and discover or reasonably should discover during the execution of the warrant that the building actually contains multiple residential units, they are required to limit their search to the unit or units for which they have specific probable cause. Here, once the officers arrived at the building named in the warrant, they realized it had been subdivided into separate units with as many as 11 tenants and subtenants. All 11 could access the building's wireless internet, and the officers had no information leading them to any particular unit, tenant, or device. Therefore, the chance of finding child pornography in a single residential unit, including Doe's rented room, was substantially less than the fair probability required for probable cause, and the execution of the warrant was objectively unreasonable. So,
and that was from the dissent to where the dissenting justice said, yeah, you shouldn't have done this. You should have known that this was an invalid warrant, but the majority wound up saying, nah, it's good enough for government work.
Yep. So I'm going to say one last thing. By upholding the officer's qualified immunity, the court has basically run rucksaw over our rights.
Yeah. Again. I think that's probably the understatement of the year, or at least understatement of the night. You know, definitely in the running for understatement of the year. Let's go to the phones where we've got Ralph calling in from New Jersey. Ralph, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
I would like to talk about the issue of black criminality, the police, the animalistic element as it pertains to the city of Baltimore,
Ralph,
Maryland.
I would like you to bring up a completely different topic and not mention race. How about that? Because every time you call in, you mention race.
With all due respect to you, the issue of race was in the news, right? You probably heard about the LeBron James situation over in California.
Where somebody vandalized his house with racial slurs. Yes.
With the N-word. Right. Now, see, here's where the double standard that, really irked me, okay? To no end. Irked me to no end. How come the like of LeBron James, who have, an influential voice in this country, to speak about anything and everything under the sun, didn't say something about the animal who carried out that hateful act in Fresno, California?
Well, they did. They reported that there was a crime. That's mentioning the guy who did it. Now you're calling him an animal.
And as far as, that was the right call that the Police Review Board in Baltimore, Maryland did to clear out those police officers in the Freddie Gray case, because the problem really in Baltimore is spend a day in Baltimore. Okay, you don't even feel secure and safe anymore in the John Hopkins area. It used to be that's a secure, safe area. You can't, because there are undesirable elements hanging around the neighborhood. They're up to no good. How about that?
I am not even sure that half of those things were words. I just heard high-pitched syllables.
Now Ralph gets a little worked up, but he's saying that in certain inner cities that there is a lot of crime. And, of course, Ralph will take it and put a racial spin on it. I personally
part of that
will
is
look at
because
it.
there are so many laws that everything's illegal.
No, I put particularly the plight of the inner city, specifically on the war on drugs. When you declare war on your own people, when you do things like implement minimum wage laws that make
licensing laws
that make it impossible for people that are on the lower end of the economic spectrum to be able to get a leg up by taking a job for next to no money, so they gain experience and they can get a better job. You do away with all that, and then, hey, guess what? Selling drugs, at least I can feed my family.
Let's go to Tom calling in from Nashua. Tom, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
By the way, MAC address is Media Access Control address.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
what I wanted to say earlier.
Okay, now, I got an email from U.S. Senator Jeanne Shaheen.
Oh, how
and
lucky.
She's worried about what Donald Trump wants to do to Obamacare. She's bringing up, of course, it always sounds better when you use specific stories and, individuals, and this girl who has a very serious eye disease.
All right, hold that thought, Tom. Hold that thought. We'll bring you back, and I'm not even entirely sure what Trump wants to do with Obamacare other than just, tweak the edges. This is Free Talk Live, 855, 450, free.
Fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. I'm talking thick, meaty, center-cut presidential bacon. Savory and delicious. I buy some, I use some, I store some. Awesome. No refrigeration needed with a 10-year shelf life. NASA-packed technology. Bacon. Fully cooked, fully hydrated, ready to eat right from the packed bacon. Or warm and served. Life-saving, ready-to-eat bacon. 10-year shelf life bacon. Ships free at fullycookedbacon.com. Fullycookedbacon.com.
Do you know what's lurking in your water? More than 200 contaminants could be sitting there, just waiting for your glass. With the ProPure water filter, start enjoying clean and great-tasting water today. ProPure filters, independently tested, latest water filter technology. ProPure systems do not require electricity and are easy to set up and easy to use. To find out more, visit your authorized ProPure dealer or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com.
Free Talk Live.
3-year-old child lost his arm after being viciously attacked by a pit bull terrier earlier this month.
Gosh.
Now the incident has moved a state lawmaker to author legislation that will effectively ban the pit bull breed in the entire state of Oklahoma.
Wow. Wouldn't all of Mr. Wesselhoff's constituents be a little safer if we all just couldn't have any dogs at all?
That's true. It would guarantee that no one would be bitten by dogs.
Right, and no cats.
What about cats? They scratch people.
They do scratch people, and it leaves a nasty infection.
It could, certainly.
Certainly.
We should ban infections, too, while we're at it. I mean, while we're protecting everyone from everything.
Birds can carry the flu, we know that.
We should just exterminate all animals with teeth.
Well, forget the teeth. The birds have no teeth. I say we kill them all.
Just every animal.
Yeah.
Okay. What about insects? You could just sign a law that bans mosquitoes.
That'd be great.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. It's Darryl,
Chris,
and Chris.
And we are taking your calls about whatever is on your mind. We've been talking about really weird, strange court cases. Started off talking about two Florida men in separate cases that wound up finding themselves in court, one of them in jail for 180 days for providing the wrong password to police. He attempted to provide them the right password, turned out not to be the right password, got a contempt of court charge. The other Florida man wound up saying, I forgot the password from almost a year ago, and they said, oh, well, all right, that's fine. And then talked about an incident in the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals where somebody was filing a suit against police saying that a warrant that was executed was invalid. And unfortunately, the court said, yeah, no, they can basically do whatever they want to. Doesn't matter that there were 11 apartments in this building. They knew that the internet connection came from the building, so therefore they can do whatever they want to because they're cops and they have 5 billion different kinds of immunity, and you can't hold them liable for their actions.
Despite clear precedent, too.
Yeah, well,
to the contrary of that.
There has been a lot of bad court precedent that has been overturned. There's also been good court precedent that gets overturned. So the fact
there's
that
been bad court precedent that's never been overturned.
True,
and
but the fact that there's court precedent doesn't necessarily mean one thing or another.
Sure.
That's kind of just like an appeal to authority of, oh, well, there's court precedent. At one time, there was court precedent that you could have separate water fountains for people.
Sure, and I want to go with my favorite example of this is Buck v. Bell, and this was a case back in the days when we really believed in the progressive era that eugenics was the way to go, and that we could arbitrarily decide, sometimes certain races shouldn't exist. And this is, I'm not talking about the Klan, I'm talking about the federal government.
Right.
And Buck v. Bell was a case, it took place in Virginia. Buck was a woman who lived, she was in an asylum in Virginia, and she was determined to be incompetent, and they were going to forced sterilization. Forced sterilization, yeah. So they were going to, basically sterilize her against her will, and it went all the way to the Supreme Court.
Yep.
And I'm trying to remember the judge who wrote the opinion, but he basically wrote that yes, the society as a whole is best served if this woman never reproduces again.
Oliver Wendell Holmes.
Oliver Wendell Holmes, who everybody remembers. What a great jurist, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is a decision. Has this ever been overturned?
Nope.
Never.
And
so there's your precedent. There's your case law.
Just sort of, one step away from eugenics and forced sterilization is something that Sarah Palin warned about when the Patient Protection Affordable Care Act was being discussed, and that would be death panels. And that leads us back to Tom in Nashua, who was calling in about the PPACA because he wound up getting an email from one of the 2 senators from New Hampshire. Tom, you're back on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Well,
Well, it seems that Sarah has to go see the eye doctor, and she has a very serious eye disease, and it costs $3,500 every visit, and her health insurance is provided by a government program, of course, which means that the government, vote for me, and I'll steal money from other people and pay for this, instead of like burned and crippled children who are taken care of by the Shriners, who don't accept government money. Okay, burned and crippled children, that's a niche for, it used to be polio, but then they outgrew that. They accomplished their mission, and then they said, well, we can either sit around and play cards, or we can go do something. How about burned and crippled children? And so that's what they did. Yep. But here's a loaded statement from this email here. No parent should have to worry about access to health care for their kids. It's like, hello? How can you say such a crazy that they shouldn't have to worry about? Oh, sure, the government should just provide for everything, just have a carefree utopia where the government just provides for everything. And it's, the reason, why does it cost $3,500? How much of that reflects government overregulation and everything else? I don't know, but that was just a line there. And since you were talking about court cases, by the way, I want to bring up a situation going on right now in Tennessee, if I could, about the 7 bounty hunters who pursued the wrong car, and then they fired these darn criminals who were trying to get away, except that it was the wrong car, and none of these people are criminals. There's the court case now, 7 bounty hunters charged with murder. See, if they were cops doing that, then they would all be given immunity. That's what you have to do is apply the same rules to cops as you apply to bounty hunters.
Yep, but every time I've ever heard anybody suggest that, you wind up having the Chiefs of Police Association and all of their unions come out and say, if we take away all of these immunities, nobody would want to be a cop.
Fair enough.
Well,
okay, I'm good with that.
So,
great. I'm all for that.
But
is there a second?
But let's use that same logic. And, bounty hunters don't have all kinds of immunities, but people still want to be bounty hunters. Security guards don't have all of these immunities, but people still apply for security guard jobs.
And electricians. Electricians are actually good people who are trying to provide a very valuable service, and they don't mean any harm, but it doesn't matter who told them that the power was shut off. Guess what happens if you go by what somebody told you, and it turns out not to be true? They fry like a hamburger, and it's very unfortunate when that happens because they're not out to hurt people.
There's a reason, there's a procedure called lockout, tagout, to where you put a lock on something and then you put a little tag. If the lock is there but the tag is not, then all right, who took the tag? If the tag is there and the lock is not, who took the lock? You have to verify for yourself.
Right, unless you're in government. And in those cases, you really don't. Because government protects itself. I mean, the best thing, if some of this stuff is new to you, people at home listening, just think about things that you can do with your neighbors or how you treat your neighbors. And if you were to behave badly to them, you would suffer repercussions. So if I go over and if I steal Darryl's money out of his wallet, then Darryl's not going to be a happy guy with me.
There's only like $7 in there right now.
He's probably going to be all right.
So if you ask me, hey, Darryl, can I borrow $7? Yeah, just pay me back.
Right. But government can do that. Government can tax.
Let me point something out else here. One time I came upon a disabled motorist, and I said, hey, lady, you need help? You need me to call it in? No, I got my husband coming to it. Well, some people would be tempted to call 911 anyway. And then the cop would get there and run her ID, and if there's a warrant on her there for some other thing, then so it would be the last thing in the world that she would want. So, I did not call because she said, no, don't call. Her husband's on the way.
Yep, and in the case of a disabled motorist, would probably want to wind up calling AAA or a tow truck instead of 911. Tom, thank you for the call. Let's go to Bob calling in from somewhere in New England. Bob, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
What's going on, guys?
You're on the air. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Well, I wanted to talk about how they're decommissioning some of the fire sirens we have here in New England. In New England, normally in the older cities, they have fire horns. I'm not sure if you know what that is.
Yeah.
It's like a fog horn that goes off whenever it signals volunteer firefighters, and they're slowly decommissioning them and scrapping them.
All right, so
And
I
I
want
don't
to know more about it. Hold your thought, and I would like to know exactly where in New England, because last I checked, there's about 6 states in New England. This is Free Talk Live. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
If you're a sleep apnea sufferer who's on the go to your phone. Because if you give us a call right now, you'll be able to try the world's first portable mini CPAP device absolutely risk-free for 10 restful nights. It's the Transcend Mini CPAP, an engineering marvel that's as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. Its unique design is so small and so light, you can fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. No more dragging around a big, bulky CPAP. Even better, now you can try Transcend absolutely risk-free for 10 restful nights by calling minicpap.com, 1-800-768-3138. Transcend is FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. You can also add a battery pack that's as tiny as a deck of cards. So now you can enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. But don't wait. To receive your 10-night in-home trial, call minicpap.com now, 1-800-768-3138. That's 1-800-768-3138.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Hi folks. In a world of GMO, genetically modified organisms that is, chemicals, processed foods, and a healthcare system that's unraveling like a cheap suit, it's time to prepare. God created herbs, and herbs help man. Our body can heal itself, just sometimes we need assistance. You need some help? GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Our mild detox is quite powerful with its unique blend of 8 different herbs. And if you're looking for more, our non-GMO supplements will help you with different needs you might have. Health should be a top priority. Take care of your health naturally. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Give your body a treat. Let the herbs do their thing naturally. Read all the testimonies on the website, GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Sickness and viruses are like intruders, and herbs are like warriors. Let the tea work for you. That's GetTheTea.com.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phone, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
Yeah!
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Possibly time for you and your thoughts if you call in now. In studio, it's Darryl,
Chris,
and Chris.
And if you're going to be doing any shopping online anytime soon, then I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. Well, like, it doesn't benefit me personally. It benefits Free Talk Live if you do this, but start that shopping experience by going to shop.freetalklive.com. From there, you can go to the Amazon of your choice, Amazon US, Canada, UK. There's also links to Newegg and several other shopping outlets, all there at shop.freetalklive.com. And once you're there, you can then just bookmark the shopping outlet that you want to go to. That way you don't have to keep going back to shop.freetalklive.com. Just click on the bookmark, and then Free Talk Live still winds up earning a little bit of commission on whatever shopping you do. Again, shop.freetalklive.com. We're going back to the phones. We've got Bob calling in. Says that some New England areas are decommissioning firefighter horns, which is something in some of these smaller towns to notify the volunteer firefighters that, hey, you're needed. And these things are being decommissioned. And I'm guessing, because I don't know the details of why, but I'm guessing the technology has been upgraded to where most places now have two-way radios of some sort.
Or your cell phone. Go ahead, caller.
Well, I can talk to you about that. Those fire horns are activated by two-way radios, and they've been installed in the 40s, and they were intentionally supposed to be used for foghorns on top of boats. And specifically in New Haven, Connecticut, we have maybe 4 sets of horns, each on. I know there's a set of on each fire station, and they sound a lot like Baba Booey. Fuck off.
And you can't say that. And I was really interested in these fire horns because here in Keene, New Hampshire, the town, city, town, whatever you want to call it, that we broadcast from, there's this thing that the locals refer to as the air raid siren.
Right.
It's not an air raid siren.
It sounds like one.
But it sounds like one. And it goes off whenever the fire trucks have been activated to go somewhere, because we've got this thing that is kind of like a roundabout that's not really a roundabout, that's called Central Square, that the road is actually a circle, but when you look at the overhead view, it's a triangle. It's really weird, and geography just was not the strong suit of whoever made this thing. But because of where the fire station is, if the fire truck is heading south, they have to go the opposite way through this intersection. So they, blow the air raid siren so that everybody knows, traffic stop, and all of the lights turn red so that there's no traffic, and then everybody knows, it's the air raid siren, there's going to be a fire truck coming.
Yeah.
So, it makes sense to have that, but, an air horn of, activating the volunteer fire department, whoop, whoop, activating the volunteer fire department does not make sense
today.
When everybody now has the two-way radio.
And it's not even
they
now.
have cell phones, but Mark Edge, who's one of the co-hosts, he's on the volunteer fire department in the town where he lives, and he has this two-way radio.
Before he had a two-way radio, he had a pager, because that's what was used for years and years. And now there are... Not even now. I'm talking about technology that's been around for the last 5 or 10 years, but it's a pager basically that beeps at you, and it will play back a recorded message of what the call happens to be. And ambulance folks use that too. But I know in my town now there is a cell phone based system that gives the responders much more information on the call, and they get a GPS, loaded map and stuff like that.
I'm guessing that this is going to be a department-issued phone?
In some cases, some departments let people
I know that
they use their private phones.
The cell phone, it's not the cell phone that I have, but the provider that I have. There's a lot of the less populated areas of New Hampshire where I have no service at all.
Oh yeah, and that's the downside. And that's why
my cell phone would not work.
Well, when you get out into the boonies, kind of where I live, that's when you see the guy who's got the pager, because that works around most of town. I'm also going to carry my radio because that covers a couple spots that the pager doesn't work, and I got my cell phone just in case it happens to work. So yeah, it's crazy.
So let's go back to another we've been doing a lot of court-related stuff recently because there's just been a lot of really weird, strange court things. And I would love to delve into the printer cartridge case out of the Supreme Court, but there is not enough time to do that justice. But let's talk about jury tampering and jury nullification. And what's the difference between the two? And
wait,
this is a serious conversation.
I hear where you're going.
Because a jury of 6 in Big Rapids, Michigan, found Keith Wood guilty within 30 minutes on Thursday.
Wow.
And convicted him of attempting to influence a jury in Mecosta County. The trial began Wednesday for Mr. Wood, who was initially charged with a 5-year felony for obstructing justice after handing out jury right pamphlets on the sidewalk outside of the Mecosta County Courthouse.
Yep. Does not surprise me at all.
That makes me really glad to be in New Hampshire.
Right.
Because I've done the same thing. Fortunately, never been arrested for it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the case, Fox 17's Dana Chiklas broke the case in December. The case made national headlines. His bond was set at $150,000. His felony charge was dropped last March when he was on trial for jury tampering, which was a 1-year misdemeanor. The case has unique First Amendment implications, according to Fox 17, that gives some perspective on free speech limitations. However, Mecosta County Circuit Judge Kimberly Boer tried the case and ruled against the defense, arguing much of the First Amendment issues before the jury. She also previously defined that a juror includes anyone summoned for jury duty. What? So if you give information
potential juror
to someone who is a potential juror, then you are attempting to influence a juror.
Let me get this straight.
Yes, I am.
Anybody who is eligible to vote is a potential juror, correct?
Not necessarily. In some states, if you have a driver's license, you could be called for jury duty.
Okay.
In some places, if you're a registered voter. In some places, as long as they know you live in the state.
Or if you're a felon, you may not be a juror.
Wow.
In
Possibly.
some states,
So basically,
but again, she's saying here anyone who is
no free speech right.
summoned for jury duty. So not just someone who could possibly maybe one day be summoned. So what he was doing, standing outside of the courthouse, passing out information to people that were showing up to the courthouse for jury duty, and he was charged with jury tampering. Moments after the verdict was read, Fox 17 asked Wood, "How does this make you feel about your First Amendment rights?" To which Wood responded, "Oh, I don't feel like I have them."
I would have been like, what First Amendment rights?
Exactly.
Which is basically what he said.
Yeah.
I don't think I have them. We had briefs about the First Amendment, free speech. It was very clear today. I know the jury doesn't hear that, but it was very clear that the government did not meet their burden to restrict my freedom of speech on the public sidewalk. It was very clear. On November 24th, 2015, Wood, who's a father of 8 and a former pastor, was arrested after passing out about 50 fully informed jury association flyers on the sidewalk in front of the courthouse. The flyers discuss juror rights, including those that are debated and often not read by judges in instructions, and that includes the right of a juror to vote their conscience and nullify the charge. So I would love to discuss jury nullification a little more in depth, but basically it's the concept of if you believe the law is unjust, it doesn't matter whether the state proved their case or not. You can and should vote not guilty. We're out of time for tonight, but we're always online at freetalklive.com, and we'll be back tomorrow night, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern. Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use